Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala, and if you are new here, you want to know that I am a shamanic practitioner. I'm mainly a practitioner within the Nordic shamanism, but I'm also initiated into Nustakarpa and the Munaiki rites. So, we're here today to keep on diving into the 9 realms of the Nordic shamanism, the Nordic map of the cosmos. And this is my map. And we have gone through all of the upper worlds, all of the middle worlds. And as someone told me in one of the comments last week, in the past couple weeks, this world in the middle here that we have talked about recently is Midgård. That is another name for it. I completely forgot that at the time. I don't know why. I rarely use the word Midgård. So, this is the world we are going into today. So we have 3 lower worlds, lower worlds to go through. And we are starting over here with the rune of ice that represents the world of ice and snow. This is one of the lower worlds called Nifelheim. So, I'm going to talk about who lives here or who resides here, and I'm going to talk about what these entities represent and what the world represents, and I'm going to talk about the element that is connected to this world, and I'm going to talk about the benefits of traveling here. But first, I want to talk about a myth. And not a myth as in the Nordic myth or the Nordic mythology, but something that is often misunderstood. So, Nifelheim, that is the name of this world, is not hell. Okay, so Nifelheim is often connected, misguidedly so, connected to like Satan or like that counterpart in the Nordic mythology. We don't really have a counterpart of Satan because the goddess of the underworld, the goddess of the death realm is Hel, and I'm going to talk about her next week. And she is far from a satanic figure. She is more connected with the earth and the earth mother than anything else. We don't really have that concept of hell in the Nordic tradition or in Nordic mythology or anything like that. But I know that Nifelheim has sometimes been connected to that kind of thinking, and that's just please take that thought and throw it out. I know that it has been depicted as such in maybe pop culture and that sort of thing. So what I'm hoping also to do with these videos is to give you an understanding of these worlds and how we perceive them in the Nordic tradition, and how that differs from pop culture's image or representation of the different worlds. So, Nifelheim, who lives here? So, this world is connected to giants. So we have already talked a little bit about giants when we visited the upper world of Muspelheim. Muspelheim is the world of fire. This is the counterpart of this world that is the world of ice and snow. And just as in Muspelheim, where we had fire giants that stand for creativity and creation, like the creative powers of universe that creates everything. So we have fire first, and then comes ice, and ice is the shaping of that. So if we look inside of ourselves, so we have fire giants, and then we have ice giants. So these ice giants that we call in Swedish, we call them rimtuschar. Tusch is the word for giant in this connotation. So when we talk about creativity and creation and creating things and weaving the web of life, we have fire. We have the creative force of fire that brings things out that we want to do. But if we only have the fire, then we tend to create the same thing over and 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 over again. So we need then to bring in ice, that is the shaping of what we have created, the creations. So if I have clay, I create something with the clay, but then I need to shape it, and then I need to clay might not be the best solution, maybe the best example of this. But imagine creating clay, right? We create clay first, or we create wood. We create the basic form of something, and then we have to shape it. And what do we do to make something out of clay? We shape it. So the shaping is not actually fire. The shaping is ice. And the shaping, to explain the shaping, we need to talk about when ice covered the world. And here in the Nordic countries, in Scandinavia, and very much so in Sweden, we had the Ice Age, the latest Ice Age. All of Sweden were covered with ice, and beneath the ice we had like pathways of water that was always running, and we also had that ice is never still. Ice is not ice is not constant, and it's not still. It's always moving forward and shaping the world beneath the ice. So the world that we saw when the ice disappeared was a far cry from the world as it stood before the ice came. And that is kind of the best way to describe the shaping ability of the element of ice. So there's a lot in this element, and what these ice giants do, their work is more slow than the fire giants. The fire giants, they might throw things, they might burn things, they might ignite things, and they ignite the fire in your belly, the fire in your inside of you, the passion inside of you that makes you want to just go at it, and then the ice comes and kind of soothes that fire. It doesn't choke it doesn't make it go away, but it calms it down so that you can think clearly, because with the ice we can imagine ice crystals, and these are the representation of the clarity that comes. And also the if we imagine like stalagmites and stalactites, they represent the alignment of all your chakras, and the alignment within you that follows upon this clarity. So we need ice after fire. We need ice to complement the fire. And what do we get out of that? We get the life-giving water that is a part of Vanaheim, the upper world that we have also talked about. So there is when we look at a map of cosmos, and we look where we have Muspelheim, the world of fire, up here. So look at this as a wheel. And in the middle you have Midgård or Mannheim. So up here we have the world of fire, and down here we have the world of ice. There is a pathway between these two. These are connected. They are always connected. So in the beginning of time, according to the Nordic mythology or the Nordic creation story, we had fire and ice that created the life-giving waters that then made so that the world could blossom and all the green could come up. So the two elements that we to create life, we need earth, and then we need fire and water and ice, and those together bring water. And then we need, of course, the life-giving breath of air. So those are the 5 elements in the Nordic shamanism that we work with. We work with the element of earth, we work with the creative element of fire, the shaping element of ice, that also brings clarity and alignment. And then we work with water, that is a product of fire and ice. So for us, water isn't, it's not there from the beginning. It's a product of these 2. So, and then we have the air and the und, the life-giving und and air. So we have the ice giants in this realm, but we also have, of course, we have some goddesses and gods that reside in this world. Mainly, the main one of those is Skadi or Skade. In Swedish we say Skade with an E at the end, but it's pronounced E, because that's how you say E in Swedish. So we spell it with an E at the end, but it's actually pronounced E. But in English I know that we spell it Skadi, which is pronounced Skadi. So she is the goddess of this realm. She is the goddess, the huntress, she is the, what's the word, like, she's the one who reigns over this realm. Anyway, so she's the goddess of this realm, and she is the one that we can work with when we work with our creative, with our shaping, and with our clarity, and with our alignment. And she has so many wonderful qualities, and I have made videos in the past talking about Skadi when I talk about winter solstice, so I'm not gonna go too deep into her right here and right now. I will talk about her again in the future. But she is the goddess of this realm, and her wolves are from this realm. So if you have wolves of any kind as a power animal, a spirit animal, a familiar, anything like that, they are from the underworld of Nifelheim. So that is where they are on the map. And as I've talked about before, we have, in the Nordic, we have a tradition, we have at least 9 power animals, and those are one from each of the 9 realms. And if you have wolves, they are from here, and they have a lot of different abilities. They have protecting abilities, they have hunting abilities, they have they teach us about how to act as a family, how to bond with other creatures and other individuals, and how to live in a herd or a flock of individuals. And they are not just these, teeth-bearing creatures that are good at intimidating. They have so many other qualities that we need to learn if we have these as our power animals. Because most people that I've talked to that believe that they have wolves as a power animal, they mostly talk about how these are protecting them in the spirit realm and in any part of the non-ordinary reality. But they have so much more to teach us, and as I've talked about before when I've talked about power animals, it's important to work with the power animals and all of their abilities, their properties, and everything that they have to teach us so that we can embody those teachings. My power animal from this realm is not the wolf. I can summon the wolf, and I can work with the wolf if I need a wolf, but it's not one of my power animals. My power animal is far smaller. I don't know the English word for it, but I might put it in the description box if I find the word for it. So what do I need to... have I missed something? Okay, so who lives here? Ice giants, rimtuschar, and Skadi the goddess of winter, the goddess of ice, the goddess of snow. She's a hunter. She's a very self-sustained goddess. She has a history with a god of water and the sea, and their relationship didn't work because she needed to be in the ice-covered woods with her wolf. She couldn't live in water. She needed to live in the snow-covered landscape, which I completely understand. That's her element. So what does she represent? She represents so many things. She represents the self-sustainability. She represents being acknowledging the power within, but also that you have the clarity within yourself, that you don't need to look outside of yourself. She's very independent, and so that's kind of some of the properties that she represents. And then we have the ice giants that represents the ability to shape your own reality. You don't just create threads. You need to shape the web of life. You need to tie the knots, and you need to visualize what you need to, so what you want and what you need to create and shape. So if creation is making all of the threads in your web of life, shaping is tying the knots and actually being a part of your own creation, and you're creating your life the way you want it, making things happen, so that you can then move forward and create more and shape more and create more and shape more. It's an everlasting cycle, but also to stop sometimes and feel. So when you have this water that comes up to the surface, through tears or through sweat or whatever, you need to be in that moment and allow it to happen. So the element of this realm is ice, and the meaning of ice is, as I have said, clarity. It's alignment, and one thing that I haven't talked about yet is what it is within ourselves and outside of ourselves. So Nifelheim and ice stands for, and the rune of ice is, or Insus, stands for our fears. So this underworld is the world of our fears and our phobias. So everything that we fear, all of our fears are stored in this part of ourselves, and can be reflected in Nifelheim outside of ourselves. So journeying to this world, this realm, is beneficial if you want to face your fears, if you want to work with your fears, if you want to maybe untie the knots of your phobias. You want to go back and see if you want to go back and really find out, where did this start? Why am I afraid of this? Where does this phobia come from? And work through that. So facing Skadi means to face your fears, and working with her means to work in the darkest, deepest parts of yourself that is caught in the ice. So imagine going through things like maybe traumatic events, or just things that shape you when you grow up, and you don't really have the energy or the knowledge or the maturity enough yet to be able to process that, and you don't get help with it. It is caught in ice. So visiting this world can be like visiting an ice tomb of just ice boxes that contain all of your fears and phobias and the traumatic events in your life that they haven't been split from yourself. They are just hidden here, and they are stored here until you can process them in a healthy way. So when visiting this world and journeying to this world inside and outside of yourself, you need to be protected, and you need to be guided, and you need to prepare yourself very much. So working with underworlds, you really need to be prepared. You need to have clear guidance, preferably work with someone that really knows what they're doing. They can guide you through it. And then also your spirit guides, of course. And then you need to be protected. And the thing that we want to protect ourselves from the most when we visit Nifelheim is so that we don't bring anything out that we are not ready for, that we only bring out what we are ready to face. So there are so many ways to make sure that we do this. So I'm gonna make videos in the future more about going in depth with journeying and how to protect ourselves and how to work with the different realms in journeying. So you have that to look forward to, and I'm also gonna talk about that on my Patreon when I get that up and going. So the benefits of traveling on journeying to this realm is to face your fears and work with them, and fears of all kinds. So everything is stored in this part of you and this part of the cosmos, the inner and the outer. So that's what I had to share with you today about the world of ice, Nifelheim. Next time I'm going to talk about Helheim, where the goddess Hel resides and where she reigns. And I hope you look forward to that as much as I do. Hel is close to my heart. I've worked a lot with her, more than I have with Skadi. I think I've worked with them equally, but Hel is a bit closer to my heart. So I will see you next week, and we will talk about Hel, or Helheim. And so Nifelheim is the world of ice and the world of the ice giants. And thank you, and walk in beauty and walk with Skadi. Invite her. And when I have my goddess rituals or goddess ceremonies with the Nordic goddesses, one each time, like I have at the winter solstice, I invite Skadi to this realm. So I invite her here. So I don't go here. I do sometimes, but when I invite people into this ceremony that are beginners, we stay here and we invite Skadi up here so that we are in a safe space to work with her, and we ask of her only to bring up what we are ready to work with, and nothing more and nothing less. And then we say goodbye to her and she travels back there. And when I work in depth with healing and Skadi, then I work with journeying to Nifelheim. So make sure to do it slowly at first when you work with her, and the best way is to invite her to the middle worlds, and you do that and meet her in meditation instead of journeying. And I'm gonna make a video in the future. I think one of my first videos when I talk about journeying is gonna be about the difference between meditation and journeying, so that you know exactly what I'm talking about and why I talk about them differently and what I mean, so that there's no confusion going forward. So see you next week in Helheim, and walk in beauty until we meet again. Tjingeling!